law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Mason Smith, defensive tackle, LSU.
When you look at him, Joel, and you're looking at trying to build out your defensive front, and you bring over Eric Armstead, who's huge. We know about Trayvon Walker and what a physical freak he was as the first overall pick. They've got some rare dudes now just in terms of the size, length, and athleticism up front.
Rolls away from pressure, in trouble. Just throws it up for grabs, and it is intercepted. Jarian Jones picked it off. Keelan Robinson on the return. There he goes. Robinson inside the 40. Finally get a chance. Everybody breaks the tackle, and Robinson looking back at the defender. Touchdown, Texas. 95-yard return.
With the 114th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Javon Foster, tackle, Missouri.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you as, 2 weeks from today, we'll be celebrating or commiserating with each other over what the Jaguars did in the first round of the NFL Draft. Good morning, Mike Dempsey. Good morning, Tony Smith. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I am chuckling that Stevie had his moment in the sun there. Irish Jaguar.
Javon Foster.
It doesn't look like the name he called. We'll see if he gets to year 2.
Right. With this roster, when will he get his first NFL action?
Yeah.
Javon Foster. I heard Mia O'Brien. Good morning, Tom McManus.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday.
Mia said, I want to say a couple weeks ago, that she was told that, like, the coaching staff, when they took Javon Foster, was like, what? What? We took who? And that it was, like, purely a scout's pick. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Like, because, again, all this, everyone tells you we're all going to collaborate on everything, that there shouldn't be shocking picks in the fourth round of an NFL draft. But clearly, Javon Foster did nothing to impress the coaching staff enough to get him on the field last year.
No, not at all. And you wonder what his future holds, with the Jags. I mean, who knows?
You think about it. That's a fourth rounder, right?
Yeah.
We got a couple of fourths this year, got a couple of thirds as well. Depends on what chart you look at. If you want to move up, that's extra ammunition. And you can trade away a third-round pick, still have a third-round pick, for instance. The old chart will tell you, the Jimmy Johnson chart. He's the one who created that original chart where, like, the first pick's worth $3,000 and then the sliding scale on down. Something like 36 and 88 will get you up on the old chart around pick 22, something like that.
Okay.
So, that's your second third rounder. You'd still have pick 70, and obviously your second pick now is in the first round.
Right.
So this is something Tony and I have been kicking around all week, and we're finally to the point where that's today's question of the day. Is there a player, as a Jaguar fan in our audience, that you would like the Jags to consider a move up for if they fall to the right range? Like, look, I would like Tone to have Ashton Genty and Mason Graham, right? We're not going to trade up into the top 10, right? So think of a player who maybe, even if he's not projected to go in the final 10 picks of the round, but you think has a chance due to circumstances to fall there, who would be that guy that would get you to jump? So we'll get into that a little bit today, Tommy.
Cool.
And
I've got a couple in mind already.
Yeah, me too, right? There are some interesting things out there. You pointed out a mock draft you were looking at earlier today. I do, again, there is an entertainment aspect to this, right? Like, I go there and I scroll down to 5, and if it says Mason Graham, I'm like, all right, well, I've seen enough out of this mock draft.
Right.
And that's not fair. There was one, Tone, we were looking at, was it Chris Trapasso last week, who had the Jags taking Mason Graham and then moving back into the first round? Or it wasn't Mason Graham. He hadn't taken somebody else and coming back in for Walter Nolan.
I think it was Genty.
Was it Genty?
Yeah.
That's right. That's what it was.
No, and it was the D lineman from Oregon, I think.
Oh, was it Derek Harmon?
Yeah, it was Harmon.
Well, there have been a couple where
was there another one with
there was
Nolan?
a CBS one that either way.
Yeah.
Those, like, okay, even if I don't necessarily believe it or think it's a good value, it's interesting, right?
Totally.
There's some different things in there. So this one you brought to our attention this morning from Cody Benjamin, who I generally like over at CBS. He's okay. Cam Ward going first.
Yep.
I think everyone thinks that's going to happen. Travis Hunter at this point. More and more, it would be surprising if he's not the number 2 pick, is the consensus now.
I'd be shocked if they go QB now, right? Especially they just
the Browns signed Flacco.
They signed Flacco, so
Flacco's got to be the best quarterback on that roster presently, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, based on what we've seen from Deshaun Watson the last couple of years when healthy.
Wing it, you know, he big,
really
he's
can.
tall, he can still throw it.
You know what's interesting about this is, to get sidelined here for a second, is that the feeling was last year they didn't bring him back because they were afraid that his popularity would force their hand, like early in the season. If Deshaun Watson struggles, you're going to hear chants, Flacco, Flacco. And they couldn't, exist in that environment, and so he ended up going to Indianapolis. And I think now Cleveland said, blank that.
Yeah.
You know what?
We need you.
Right.
At least for a stopgap,
Absolutely.
See what happens.
I mean, look, the guy can still throw.
He can.
I bring it up all the time over the years. Tony knows this. I told it. Parcells said when Vinny Testaverde was 40, he goes, if this were a game of 7-on-7, he'd be the best quarterback in the National Football League. If he didn't have to move at all.
Yep.
If he could just stand there and throw it, he still throws it as good or better than anyone in the league.
Yeah.
But
they're a big arm.
Oh, huge
Vinny was a big guy. He's a big guy.
6'5",
Yeah.
he was all of that, man.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. And, could still wing it. So anyway, Travis Hunter goes 2 in this.
Yep.
Okay. Not going to be shocked. Abdul Carter goes 3, but not to the Giants.
Right.
Giants trade down. The Giants, by the way, do have Brian Burns.
Yep.
They have Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yep.
So you could see this. The Panthers come up to get Abdul Carter. They used to have Brian Burns.
Right, maybe replace him.
Exactly.
Yep.
The Panthers have lacked an imposing sack artist for a while, since Burns.
Yep.
And they could take advantage of the Giants being boxed out of coveted options like Cam Ward and Travis Hunter, jumping up to secure the top edge rusher in this class. Okay.
Yep.
So then this is, Tony, what you and I talked about earlier in the week. What if Mason Graham goes in the top 4?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then what do you do if you're the Jaguars?
Right.
Well, in this mock, that's exactly what happens, Tom. Why do you think, and it may be because they signed Milton Williams, right? But, and that's the Patriots specifically.
Yep.
But if Mason Graham is a top 3 non-quarterback in this class, why isn't he being talked about more as a top 4 pick?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I that one threw me off. And now, granted, it's Vrabel, so he loves defense. That's a given. But who's their left tackle for Drake May? I mean, they need help. Now, maybe they can get one later. Maybe they feel like they can get a good enough starter in the second round or whatever.
Chad Ryder of NFL.com joined us earlier this week, and I think he was kind of foreshadowing it, Tony. I think he's going to, in his final 7-round mock, which comes out a week from today, he's going to have the Patriots taking Ashton Genty. And the way he laid it out, he's like, look, who did Vrabel have in Tennessee? He had Derrick Henry. He knows the value of a back that you can just lean on and put everything on that guy's shoulders.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of what's going to help a young quarterback, a running game. That's what they're saying about Trevor here, right? So we've started opening our minds to the idea of Ashton Genty. Anyway, Mason Graham, Patriots need to fortify their offensive trenches, but Mike Vrabel isn't going to turn down added defensive reinforcements, let alone a former wrestler. Oh, okay, so if you wrestle, Vrabel has to draft you. Graham could be a pocket wrecker alongside veteran addition Milton Williams. So at 5, I get my wish. The Saints come up and trade for Shedeur Sanders right there, right? So Saints might be able to sit tight and get him at 9. They could also leapfrog the Raiders just to be safe, giving new coach Kellen Moore a traditional pocket passer to develop behind Derek Carr. New Orleans needs an arm of the future. Genty goes to the Raiders. And keep in mind, we just moved back to 9. Armand Membo goes to the Jets. And Will Campbell goes to the Giants. So
back-to-back offensive tackles.
Right. You could be like, maybe they're moving back thinking they're going to get one of the tackles.
Yeah.
But still a lot of good options there. I wouldn't mind Jalen Walker in that scenario.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate Tet McMillan in this scenario either. But they go Tyler Warren, the Jags do. And it says the Jags could also stand pat with their original pick and target Warren, whose combination of size, toughness, and versatility could make him Trevor Lawrence's best friend in Liam Cohen's offense. But it's not an offense that features the tight end.
No.
Right.
So, I'm again, if they draft Tyler Warren after a trade back, depends on what the compensation is.
I'm not going to be
get
upset about it.
Right. It can be. I can see their vision.
There's probably going to be, like in this situation, I probably would prefer Walker or McMillan, right? If I was making the decision, that's the way I would go. And it's for, when you read through it, they do have Ted McMillan going to Dallas at 12.
Yes.
Right?
So these guys are not far off.
Right. And the write-up is Dallas needs a running mate for CeeDee Lamb. Insert Brian Thomas Jr.'s name. And McMillan could be the perfect complement, offering big-bodied jump ball ability to pair with Brian Thomas Jr.'s explosiveness. Right.
They say Lamb, but you're just substituting.
You don't even have to, it's the exact same argument for why McMillan would make all the sense in the world if you do make that small trade down. Now,
Pete,
I don't know
that's
how
what
they
Prisco
feel
had.
about
I saw Prisco had that.
Right. He had the Bears coming up for Genty.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel right now if Genty is the pick for the Jaguars at 5?
I'm fine. Yeah. I mean,
So am I.
I mean, look, the optimism is he's, an MJD or a Freddie T or combination. He's that good.
Or maybe more.
Or more.
Right.
Or better.
Well, maybe not more.
Better,
Freddie T is
yeah.
Hall of Fame adjacent right now.
Yeah.
And probably will be in one day, knock on wood.
Of course.
Let's hope. So saying more than that, I mean, MJD had a nice career here.
Yeah.
I would hope if you're drafting a back at 5 with Genty's resume, you're hoping for more than like 3 Pro Bowl appearances. You're talking about let's lead the league in rushing 3 times in our career.
That's the pick at number 5 for sure. Yeah, but I'd be okay with it. I think I'm going to be okay with almost any pick.
Me
to
too.
be honest with you.
And
we got a lot of needs.
They may not be able to move back. Right. And even if you want to say, well, this pick would make a little bit more sense at 10, if the opportunity doesn't present itself.
I wonder. You got to wonder. Depending on how it goes, but you'd think somebody's going to want to come up for Genty. Don't you at number 5? Like
we did a poll the other day.
Even the Raiders could freak out and be like, man, someone's going to
someone's going to jump us for Genty, right? And that's what the Bears were doing in Prisco's mock.
Right.
So we did a question the other day. Which player gives the Jags the best trade down opportunity? In other words, this is the player that's going to get the offers. Mm-hmm. Is it Graham himself? If he's this guy who's rated ahead of all these other players, why wouldn't it be? Yep. Is it Shedeur Sanders, which the Cody Benjamin mock has? Is it Genty? Or is it either of the top offensive linemen being left? Yeah. I think it could be any of those. Tony and I agreed that we think if there's going to be a move up, it might be for Genty. Genty would be the guy we'd vote for to be the more likely target because you know exactly where you've got to get.
Yep.
At least that's the feeling. We all say this. Watch, Genty will be on the board and the Raiders take Shedeur Sanders or Ted McMillan. right. I mean, we don't know this for a fact, but it just seems like that's a pairing that's made in heaven. All right. Justin Rose is 1 under through 4 today as the Masters goes into day 2. He is the only one better than 4 under par. Right now, that includes defending champion Scotty Scheffler, who tees off at 1:23 this afternoon. We'll have twice hourly Masters updates for you this morning on 1010XL and all throughout the day as well and into the weekend. So we'll keep our eye on that. Again, today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Is there a player that you think could slide to the final third of round 1 that you think the Jags would be well served to move up and get? In other words, a second first-round pick in this cycle. And, the compensation will vary. According to the old chart, 36 and 88 gets you plenty up there. According to, there's other charts out there that will tell you that 36 and like 126 should get you into the tail end of the first round, And so if you're talking about the second, fourth round pick, and you could get up to pick, say, 30, 29 in that range, it depends on the player.
Well, especially if you trade out a number 5 and you get an extra pick.
Well, that would be ideal, right? To have a little bit more ammo to move around. I would rather have right now 10 and 25. I'm not saying you could pull that exact thing off, rather than 5 and 36.
Sure. Right. Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
is interesting, though, Tone, because everyone's saying, there are only a few elite players, right? And the talent is flat after a certain point. So pick 25 to 36, it might be flat talent. Yeah. There might not be a much difference between the defensive tackle you'd get there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into that, have some ideas today. Good morning, Dylan Denmark.
What it do?
We're not going to have you consume any milk or milk products today.
I got me some water. I got a long day today. Got to track meet a little bit, so I'm hydrated. Good to go.
That's good. You can't drink too much water either.
No.
Water poisoning or something like that.
They need to switch that challenge with tequila, and it'll end a lot quicker.
Yeah, it'll end a lot worse, too.
And worse.
Yeah, worse. ET's still laying out there.
Somebody call an Uber.
Right.
Probably not broadcasting that one on the radio.
Probably not. Well, yeah, that's more of a podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. Yeah, right.
More of a podcast. All right, so
That's right.
If you want to get in today, 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat. That's been a busy place this morning, beehive of activity. Or you can hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, or at 1010XL Denmark.
It has begun.
Oh, it's getting close to beginning anyway. So there you go. Our Friday show has begun. Keep it right here. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know what? You know what goes with a great tall glass of ice-cold milk? Delicious sandwich from Dandy. That's right, sandwiches, subs. They got the full line. They've got some easy pick-me-up on-the-go stuff. Just little protein packs and fruit cups, veggie trays, you name it. You want a little clean eating? Dandy's got it for you. Highest quality ingredients in all of the food that they make, and they locally source those ingredients right here in Jacksonville as often as possible to give you the best variety and keep the prices reasonable as well. Swing into an area gate station, fill up the tank, fill up your belly with some delicious offerings for Dandy. Head to the Fresh Case, and at this point, you probably shouldn't be amazed, maybe you still will be, at how many different options you're going to have. The local gate down the street from here, over 30 different Dandy varieties on hand any given time I walk in there. So go check it out for yourself and find the one that fits you. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
The weekend series with Missouri continues tonight at 6:30 and Saturday at 5 on 1010 AM.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Imagine enjoying the beautiful days of summer in North Florida, relaxing in your enclosed patio, free from bugs and debris. I'm Josh Molina, owner of River City Screens. We are your trusted local screen experts. We pride ourselves in our craftsmanship and our relationships. Because with Florida's unpredictable weather, you want someone dependable and reliable to show up for you every time. New construction or repairs, call River City Screens. 904-923-3544.
License number SCC 131153483.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Your shrimp in a bag. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this weekend at the newly renovated ViStar Ballpark. Join us tonight for fireworks and tomorrow at 6:35 for more fireworks. Presented by Ascension St. Vincent's. The first 2,000 fans through the main gate Saturday get a free Bluetooth speaker. Free face painting before the game on Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day at 3:05. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets.
Mia O'Brien
is going to be the first woman president of the United States of America.
Catch me weekdays from noon to 2 on Helmets and Heels.
And she could run later this year even, and I would vote for her.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota on 1010XL.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job?
Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, child care leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Tommy Mac, yesterday the Lemon Bar got brought up. You played at the Lemon Bar?
I've not played at the Lemon Bar.
Played at the Lemon
I've
Bar.
played at the Lemon Bar, but not as
you
a band.
played like recreationally at the Lemon Bar. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that might have been what somebody. I was trying to recall. Somebody sent us a text yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Referenced that. I've seen Tommy at the Lemon Bar. That might have been more what they were talking
I was there last weekend, actually, with Avery, my oldest, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday, Avery.
Happy birthday, Avery.
24.
Yeah, there you go.
But they had, I tell you what, they had a great musician out there over the weekend. Holy cow, you'd have loved him. He played everything, and he was by himself. All types
When
of
you
music.
say everything, just like covers
60s
of whatever.
to 90s to today to like pretty much everything. And he was really, really, really talented. But yeah, Lemon Bar's cool, man.
All right.
Up in the corner.
Did you ever go to the Milk Bar back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
You went to the Milk Bar. Okay, you remember the Milk Bar.
Monday nights.
E.T. doesn't want to hear about the Milk Bar this morning.
No milk for E.T.
No milk bar for E.T. He had his own personal milk bar today.
Milk bar was
I commend him for taking it on, Tone. I don't know if you watched the video of, I know you were pulling in. I know you got the spew in your rear view, you said.
It was right in the rear view mirror as I was pulling into the gates,
I'm listening all the way down south side. I'm like, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the fireworks. I had to stop and get gas. I'm like, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. But I didn't. And I came in and honking the horn. If you heard somebody blaring the horn.
I heard it.
Off screen. That was me. You're welcome. I thought E.T. gave a valiant effort.
How did it come about? Because doesn't he know the ending?
Well,
like from Hacker and like, remember when Hacker did it? Like
normal human beings are always
spun the
it's
wheel.
a punishment. Yeah.
And that's one of them?
Yeah.
That was for him, yeah. So that's the one that came up. But normal human beings can't accomplish it. But there's a video of Joey Chestnut doing it in 48 seconds.
Just pounding a gallon of whole milk.
I don't know if it's whole or 2% or 1% or whatever.
I don't know. I don't
and just pouring it straight down his throat.
Yeah.
Just, like if you've got that ability, it's like the people. My dad always talked about. He was the anchor man. Like he played on a rugby team in Ireland, and they'd have these contests after the game where they'd line the lineup up, and everybody would have a beer, and the first guy goes, and as soon as he's done, the next guy goes. And my dad ran the anchor leg. He was so proud of it.
Nice.
Because he could just pour the beer, literally just pour it right down his throat.
Yeah.
In one fell swoop.
I like chugging beer from time to time.
I was never
not
a great
lot,
chugger.
But one, I'll do a shotgun. I'm not afraid to do a shotgun beer.
If I'm going to do, the funnel is the way to do it. And just let gravity do its thing. You know
Those
what I mean?
things are so nasty, though.
Oh, they are. I mean, my buddies had
most unclean.
They had a frat at UCF, and they had a clip on the roof, and the funnel. They'd go up there and they'd clip the funnel up on the roof, and it would be, I don't know, 10 feet long or whatever.
Let me ask you this, not to get off on a side. Have you ever
it's too late.
Have you ever drunk a beer out of a yard that you got to spin? Like it's a long, thin.
I know what you're talking about. I've never.
And if you spin it too much, it'll drown you.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you got to like be really careful.
So you get like the going
like
down the drain effect kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really kind of cool. A buddy of mine's dad had them.
All right, this is Bush Drive Rich yesterday. He goes, it was me. I said, fellas should know that the Lemon Bar has seen Tommy Mack once or twice. Seen him there the past 2 times I went.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
Do you know Bush Drive Rich?
Did he come up and say hi to me?
I don't know.
Somebody did. They're a really nice guy. Yeah.
Might have been him.
It might have been Rich.
Hilton Richards is his
All
name.
right. Well, thank you.
That's public on his social media profile, or I would not be giving you this.
You should always say hi. I always say hi back, man. I love meeting people and talking to people, so it's always cool to say hi to me.
Got a little draft buzz column over at ESPN. They do it every Friday. It's good if you're an ESPN, you got the insider package over there. You can read it for yourself. But it's usually Matt Miller, Field Yates, and Jordan Reed of ESPN, and they ask them a series of questions. Why is it, Tone, by the way, they do these mini mock drafts, kind of like we do.
Yeah.
Right? Every week someone does one for the Patriots. Right? Like, they never choose to do one for the Jags.
Yeah, right.
Never choose to do one for the Jags. And it's not always, because I think, isn't Field Yates from that area? Like, he's from Massachusetts or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he is.
But it was actually Matt Miller who did the Patriots this week. Okay. And then Reed did the Panthers, and Yates did the Bears. Why are we not interesting enough to put us in there? Anyway, player on the rise. Which player are you hearing is having a late surge teams' draft boards? Reed said Darian Porter, who's a corner out of Iowa State.
Good.
6'3", 195, but he's primarily a zone corner, is what they say. 4'3", 40, 10'11" broad jump. I mean, 10'11" broad jump is ridiculous.
That's like the length of this carpet right
It's like if you took a NBA basket, laid it down,
right,
and you jumped from a standing start past it, 11 inches past it.
Right.
It's insane. So anyway, he is coming up the board, according to Jordan Reed. Field Yates says Kevin Winston Jr. This is a guy I'd love for the Jags to get in like the 3rd round. I don't know where he's going to come off the board. And if he's climbing, then maybe he won't. But he tore his ACL last year, right? So he only played for Penn State in the beginning of the year, safety.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And was ready to go at his pro day, already has run in the 4.4s, right, at his pro day, coming off a torn ACL. So that's pretty promising. After initially being a day 3 pick, given the uncertainty, he can now be selected as early as round 2.
Okay.
Because he's a guy, when we do our mocks, Tone, I love when you can when he's available around pick 107.
Sure.
Something like that for the Jags. And then Miller goes with your boy, Tommy, from BC.
BC, yeah.
Donovan Ezeraku.
Yep.
16 and a half sacks. And it's his size, right?
Yeah, he's not very big. And I don't think he's 6'3". You said 6'3".
He's listed at 6'3", 248. You don't think he's that tall?
I think he's 6'2", and he's good 245. He can definitely he's got a natural bend, a natural pass rush. But again, I don't know if you run right at him.
Is he a pure 3-4 outside linebacker?
I would. Yeah, he's not a 4-3 DN in my opinion.
Gotcha.
He's not a like he doesn't look like like how his movement's kind of like it's not slow by any means, but it's just kind of it's not quick. Twitch.
More fluid?
Yeah, it's more fluid than a quick, twitch type thing, I guess.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Certainly productive. You can't deny that.
He can get to the QB, man. You watch him bend that corner. He can definitely. He's athletic enough to do it.
If you want a 245-pound edge rusher to rotate in, there are going to be guys available in the 3rd round this year at that position. So, I don't think he's really on the Jags' radar where he's expected to come off the board.
I wouldn't think so.
And the investment you'd have to give to get him. But maybe you disagree. And if you think he's a guy worth trading up for, let us know. Today's question today, which is the player that you think should entice the Jaguars to at least consider moving up from 36 into the last third of round one for a second first-round pick this year. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. After overnight showers, the skies have cleared for the second round, and Bryson DeChambeau is within striking distance after he finished his first round strong. The two-time U.S. Open winner shot 3 under 69. He went to bed tied for fifth and 4 shots off the lead.
Yeah, I've got equipment that works a lot better than what I used to have, and I feel like now I'm in a place that I'm in a mindset, more of a mindset, where I feel a lot more patient. I think that pays dividends out here when it's a really windy day or even a perfect day. Yeah, I'm enjoying this right now. I'm sorry. I appreciate the questions, but it's beautiful right now. Look at that.
DeChambeau sounded like he saw a double rainbow at Augusta. Bryson now 5 off the lead with Justin Rose's early birdie. Rose is 8 under. DeChambeau just about to tee off. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Justin Rose was the first-round leader for a record 5th time at Augusta National, and he's building on his start. Let's check the leaderboard, sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. Rose teeing off before 9 Eastern this morning. A birdie at the par 5 second, had a nice par save at the par 3 fourth. He is 8 under. Rose now trying to save his par at 5 after putting his tee shot into a fairway bunker. Ludwig Oberg starts with a par. He's 4 under, 4 back. Also at 4 under and teeing off this afternoon, Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors. Scheffler in one of the last groups to tee off at 1:23 Eastern. Sung J. Im back-to-back birdies to start his second round. Im is 3 under, 5 back, along with Bryson DeChambeau and Tyrrell Hatton. Hatton is in the afternoon wave. At 2 under par, Daniel Berger, who's through 3 holes today, Matt Fitzpatrick, who's played 2 holes, and Akshay Bhatia, who parred the first hole. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is John Johnson with First Coast Recycling. We buy junk cars. If you have a car or a truck that you're looking to get rid of, then look no further. If you absolutely, positively have to get that car out of there, accept no substitutes. Fast cash is at your fingertips. Just call First Coast Recycling at 904-294-1659 today for a quick and easy quote. Come on, let's take your driveway back.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have an action-packed weekend with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Friday and Saturday night at 7. Then it's the Orlando Solar Bears. Sunday at 3. All games at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FrozenFrenzy.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Put the ball in the net with 60 Minutes of Soccer Talk, the coaches show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Ballard. Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Now, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family, away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, ChadAndSandy.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here for Big Chief Tire. Tax season is the perfect time to invest in your vehicle. Use your refund to tackle overdue tire replacements, brake repairs, or routine maintenance. Big Chief Tire's skilled technicians ensure every dollar counts, keeping your car running strong. With 5 convenient locations around town, fair prices, and trusted expertise, they've got you covered. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rollin'.
The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
What you laughing at there over there, Tony?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. All right. How's Rory doing at the Masters there, Dylan?
Par first hole, birdie second hole. Came into the back door.
So you've got some wagering interest on Rory?
A little bit. Bit.
What's your squad?
Scotty, Rory, Cam Smith, and Mark Howell.
Okay, so this was anybody can pick anybody kind of contest, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
go with 4 golfers. All right. Interestingly enough. I told him yesterday, I put 20 on DeChambeau.
Okay.
To win it because I was getting like 16-1.
Nice.
And I put $5 on Koepka because I got a boost and it would pay $170 for $5. So that'd be great. But
makes you feel so good when you see those on Hard
it
Rock.
really
Day.
does. And then you never win. There's a reason. I feel
good going in.
And, right.
Look what I could win.
I
And then,
could.
you know,
I
you're
might.
like,
I might win. Honestly, I root for. I don't care if it comes down to it Sunday, and it's money in one hand, and it's Scotty Scheffler winning in the other. I'll take Scotty Scheffler winning. I want to see him compile as many majors as possible and see if he can make a Tiger-esque run, so to speak. But a nice consolation then if it's those two in the final group, and and I have to take home a few $100 on that. But honestly, I really thought Rory was gonna. This might have been the year, 'cause he's never won the Masters.
Right. He collapsed yesterday, didn't he? Like, not collapsed, but
He
just
had double bogeys on 15 and 17.
He chipped across the green into the water on one of them yesterday. All about Freddie Couples, man. Little hybrid. 191 right in the hole. Unbelievable. Freddie Couples. Second oldest guy to break par at the Masters. 65 years old. Kidding me? I wouldn't break double par at the Masters. You know?
No, I know.
And I got a few years on the good side on Freddie Couples. All right. We'll keep you updated. Justin Rose with a bogey now is 7 under through 6. So still 3 clear of the lead. And that's where we're at in the NFL draft.
He just crushed that drive down the middle, man. Good.
I just turned my attention to something in front of me, and I just read it. Like, I would be totally Ron Burgundy, man.
Yeah.
You put it in front of me, I'm going to go with it. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why'd you read that, Ron?
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have put it in the teleprompter, man. Baxter. All right. So, most fascinating thing you heard coming out of pro day workouts, according to the folks over at ESPN.
Okay. Oh, the buzz stuff.
The buzz.
Yeah.
Field Yates, most fascinating thing has to do with Will Campbell's arm length. And basically, nobody cares.
Right.
That's what he's saying. The number of evaluators who are unbothered by it was hard-pressed to find an executive or coach who doesn't view him as the best tackle of this class. Because there's been a lot of that conversation. Is Membo the guy? Is there for you, Tom, from what you understand about Campbell and Membo, is there a preference for you for the style of offensive lineman you think the Jaguars want to build around?
I think they both have the style they want to build around. I just think Membo's got more upside. He's a lot bigger, and he is wicked athletic. I mean, he is, for a guy his size, 332 pounds, he really can move. And he's got the attitude, too. So, but I think with Campbell's just going to be one of those, tough, physical, I'm ready to play no matter what. Like a junkyard dog kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you don't care where he's at. He's coming after you. He's going to get, violent and be aggressive and that kind of thing. So I think either one of them would be great. And that mock we talked about earlier, that was one thing when we traded back. It was like, we're going to get a tackle. I was like,
right.
The tackles are gone. But, again, Tyler Warren would be interesting.
Isn't it funny how we get so invested in somebody's fake list of picks?
Right.
So we traded back.
Right.
Let's scroll slowly.
But you can see how it could happen. Now,
sure.
You could beat that up. You could say, well, wait a minute. Okay, so Carolina's going to jump from 8-3 to get Abdul Carter.
Yes.
Well, what if they like the kid from Georgia, Jalen Walker?
Jalen Walker,
right?
sure.
Just stay at 8. He's probably going to be there.
Probably so.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So you got to wonder, well, could they? Yeah, I could see them maybe wanting to do that. But then you could also be like, well, okay, but if we don't move, so if that trade doesn't happen, then what happens? You know what I mean? Then you're like, then it all maybe changes.
Well, that's the question. I'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Where's Abdul Carter compared to Jalen Walker on a lot of teams' boards?
Yeah,
Carolina with Walker has been attached to the hip throughout the process. So someone doing a mock draft where they're like, well, if they're that committed to that position, why wouldn't they trade up to go get what everyone kind of considers the best kind of player at that spot. That's what I think some of the mental things that happen with these mock trades.
Absolutely.
It's like we got this guy so attached at this position. It's interesting if they traded up to get the premier player at that position because we know that's where they're looking kind of thing, and that would make some sense for Carolina.
If the Jags traded back to 10 in this proposal we're looking at, or 9, I guess it was, with New Orleans, right? And they had the choice between Ted McMillan, Tyler Warren, Jalen Walker, as they did in this. What order would you rank them for your preference?
I'd probably go Walker first.
Walker 1.
Yeah, I'd want another defensive, stud.
Assuming he's going to play, have a role in your base defense linebacking core.
I mean, to me, he's my Will Backer, and then I'll put him up and let him rush the passer. I'll blitz the heck out of him. So I'd probably go there. I'd probably go Tet number 2 because I know just how they may use the tight end. I really like Tyler Warren. I think he's kind of a nice fit for pretty much any team.
What do you think the ceiling is for Brenton Strange?
I really like Brent Strange. I've liked him since he was a rookie
because they're comparable type tight ends.
Yeah,
right. I mean, Warren seems to be more accomplished and a higher ceiling pass catcher than Brenton Strange.
Yeah, but I think if Brenton given the opportunity, he could be a weapon. I mean, look, and not to tear the scab, or pick on it, but man, he'd have a great play last year, and then they'd never go back to him. It never made sense. Like he'd make a nice catch, break a tackle, run somebody over, get 20 yards, and never see the ball the rest of the game.
Well, Tony, if the Jags want to improve the running game, right, and Tyler Warren would help that, certainly, right? Maybe they draft a running back later on, whatever. But if you want to improve your running game, it means you're going to be running it a good amount, hopefully, right? You still need probably another impact wide receiver, another outside wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
So Brian Thomas is going to get a lot of targets. Is there enough payoff in terms of the pass catching aspect of what you're asking a tight end to do to, even after a trade back, consider taking one for the Jags?
I tend to think no. Personally, I think that there is, from outside of Jacksonville, there's this attachment with they lost Evan Ingram, so they got to replace the tight end.
Right.
Like, I think that's a real thing in a lot of people's minds outside of Jacksonville. I'm not saying that there aren't people here that we talk to every now and then that have him still that high, right? Like on their list of guys that they would like to see the Jaguars ultimately land. Murray's not that high on the list for me because I don't think they're looking in that direction. I don't think that they have to prioritize getting another tight end that does basically what Brenton Strange does, right? Like, I don't think that they'll be doing that early in this draft. I think they could draft a tight end, but I would expect if they do, it'll be day 3.
Yeah.
Like when they would actually get to it. Running back is different because Genty is a different animal.
Yep.
And there's so many of them in the draft, so it could be anywhere, right, that they could actually address that at some point in the draft. But tight end, I think, given what they're looking for and their stated preference at the position, that they'll be waiting until late in the draft if they do it at all.
Again, the question with Strange is, can he line up as a tight end on the line of scrimmage and handle that D end like you need him to, or at least outside back?
Yes.
I'm not saying he can.
Right.
I think so too. Because one thing you notice about with Liam and the tight end, like you can't, like you kind of knew with Ingram, he's probably going out for a pass.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's not going to line up, and you're not going to, like when guys can't block, they come into the game, you're like, okay, they're probably going to pass, or like they may run, but he's not a good blocker, so they're probably going to pass. So they wanted to know that Brenton Strange can line up and handle the blocking and then go out for passes when called upon. The only thing I would wonder is, and not that he can't do it because I think he can, but is Brenton more valuable as more of a move kind of tight end, wing, motion, maybe as a fullback, coming back like he's shown last year, and they would want a
second one
or a traditional. I'm not saying he's not traditional, but more of a traditional tight end. With Warren, you get that, right?
With Warren, you get the same. You get the two-way aspect. Like Colston Loveland is considered maybe the best pass catcher in this class by some. Okay, but work to do in the physical aspects of the run game, right? So that they're looking for that complete guy. They'll sacrifice a little pass catching upside for making sure we don't tip our hand with tendencies and that this guy can handle all the aspects of it. And Tyler Warren seems to be a guy like that. I think Terrence Ferguson, though, out of Oregon, is in that kind of mold, and you might be able to get him in round 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hopefully they don't have to force whatever the pick is. You know what I mean? The thing I didn't like about that mock, and I didn't read that, but you said Tyler Warren in that mock we talked about earlier, he's a 26th ranked player.
According to CBS. Well, it's odd because the guy who did the mock isn't necessarily the guy who did the rankings. Right? Like CBS has their overall rankings.
Yeah.
And be honest, I don't know how frequently they update that number, too.
Sure.
But it is odd that in that, they rank Tyler Warren as the second tight end. He goes one pick ahead of the guy they have ranked as the first tight end.
Right.
But I will say this. If you had just given the Jags tight end and given them Colston Loveland, I would say, well, you're not looking at the kind of tight end that they're likely going to be interested in. So I'll give them credit for that.
Sure.
Because I do think if they were to take one of them, it would be Warren.
Yeah.
All right, halfway home. Tony's going to take us around the rest of the National Football League. When we return, we'll get you Masters leaderboard update. Plenty more conversation with your Jacksonville Jaguars as the focal point in hour number 2 of Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Now, a Masters Update on 1010XL. Brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Rory McIlroy is back on the course, rolling the boulder up the hill a la Sisyphus. That boulder nearly crushed him on the second 9 yesterday. Double bogeys at 15 and 17, leading to an even par 72, and he seemed destined for something a lot better. But the quest for the career Grand Slam continues, and despite a drive into the pine straw at 2, McIlroy still had a chance to pick up a shot.
4 birdie at the second to get back into red figures. Taps it on that left-hand side, breaking to the right, curls in that right edge. That's a great birdie for Rory McIlroy. He'll have to kind of straighten out that driver just a little bit, but he's looking good this morning.
Well, Carl Paulson with the call on Sirius XM, and McIlroy missed the fairway with his drive at 3. Right now, he is 6 behind the leader, Justin Rose, early in the second round. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
18-hole leader Justin Rose out early this morning at Augusta National. He is even par through 6, 7 under for the tournament. Rose with a birdie at 2, a bogey at 5. Rose is 3 shots clear of Ludwig Oberg, Bryson DeChambeau, Corey Connors, and Scotty Scheffler, the defending champion. Oberg, the runner-up a year ago, with a par at 1 and a par at 2. He missed a 3-foot birdie putt that curled right to left. So Oberg remaining at 4 under. Bryson DeChambeau with a birdie at 2 to move to 4 under. Connors and Scheffler yet to tee off. They go off this afternoon. Sung Jae Im and Tyrrell Hatton both at 3 under, 4 back. Im with back-to-back birdies to start his round. Couple of pars after that at 3 and 4. Hatton tees off in one of the last groups today at 1:34 Eastern. Some past champions who need to rev up to make the cut: Dustin Johnson, John Rahm, Phil Mickelson, all +3. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear, deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The magical basketball ride continues for Gators fans this weekend, and now you can remember all 34 Gators wins with a full-size Season to Remember basketball for only $149.95, featuring scores of every game along with embossed logos, championship history, and more on panels of the ball. Order now. Get one of only 5,000 licensed balls. Call 800-345-2868, 800-345-2868, or visit nikcosports.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res. This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. The Florida Gators baseball team are looking to get back on track on what has been a disappointing start to the season. The Gators captured just their second SEC win on the season, defeating the Missouri Tigers 11-2 last night, and have a chance to capture their first series win over an SEC team when they take the field tonight at 6:30. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan believes the team is ready to turn the page on the season.
We've got to settle in. We just got to settle in with a lineup that, of course, this is not written in stone, but certainly tonight it just looked good. And sometimes you worry about hitting two lefties back to back, but they both handle left-handed pitching pretty good. Yeah, like I said, I just get to a point you keep writing Lawson in the fifth spot, and it's like I want to get him up there more because he's one of our best hitters.
It's 73 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time in temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
All right, a lot going on here in Jacksonville as we prepare for the 2025 NFL Draft. First under Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Vaselli. But before we get there, a lot of things happening around the rest of the NFL, and Tony Smith going to take us on a tour.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston and safety Jalen Petrie have agreed to a 3-year, $39 million deal with just over $27 million in guaranteed money. Cleveland and Joe Flacco have agreed to a 1-year, $4 million deal that could be worth up to $13 million with the incentives. Indianapolis has released kicker Matt Gay. The New York Jets and wide receiver Allen Lazard have agreed to a rework deal that will pay him $2.25 million this year. Pittsburgh has agreed to a 1-year deal with wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr., and they are currently talking to T.J. Watt apparently about a contract extension, but T.J. putting up the deuces.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about Jimmy Butler.
This is now how players negotiate.
Right, like Jimmy Butler, you get all your money, and then as soon as your team's not any good, you're going to create a ruckus and force them to trade you out of there. I would have sat on Jimmy Butler and let him rot in hell before I ever moved him to a contender. I mean, I would not be a good owner because I would let my emotions run things too often.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I would. Yeah, surprisingly enough, Dylan. What are you trying to say?
The LA Rams have agreed to a 1-year deal with linebacker Troy Reeder. Chicago, New England, and San Francisco have recently or are scheduled to meet with Texas A&M pass rusher Shamar Stewart, and former Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond turned himself into police in Frisco, Texas for an outstanding warrant for sexual assault. He has posted bond and consequently been released. Bond is scheduled to meet with Atlanta today. He visited with Green Bay on Wednesday.
Yeah, bonding out. It was not going to be the thing that drove him up draft boards right now.
That'll leave a mark.
It will indeed leave a mark on your reputation, certainly. Yes.
I'm sorry. What's the deuce thing?
Just deuces. I'm out of here. Like, peace. I'm out of here.
Oh, is that
like
what you watch?
At the X, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Like, who knows what it's even about, but it's right as these negotiations are reportedly going on.
Yeah.
So it could not be connected at all.
Yeah, sure.
But when they're both happening, it's like, what?
It could be hey, peace, Steeler fans. Let's all, whatever we do at quarterback, it's going to be okay. We don't know.
It's all good, man.
It's all good, bro. Somebody yesterday was about to merge into my lane.
Oh, no.
When I was right next to him.
Ooh.
Right? And so they started coming into, like, they're a third of the way into the lane, and I'm like moving over. I slam the horn. I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, let's not have an accident on 95.
There's somebody here.
Good,
yes.
Right? There's someone here. And so his window was cracked. He's probably smoking a cigarette because who else has their window cracked 4 inches, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and he stuck. I couldn't tell. Did he stick 2 fingers? Like, is he saying like, "Oh, my bad," right?
Right.
Or was he saying, "Hey, buddy, F you" on the horn? Okay, I wasn't sure. And so I let it slide, you know, and which is, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
You know, I do have these.
Are you a road rager?
I would, you know what? I'm probably, it's probably better for everyone that I don't concealed carry. I don't take advantage of it most of the time because I do have that vision of pulling up alongside and absolutely murdering someone. Yes. So,
do you really?
I do. I have the vision of doing that.
You know, it's funny. My Harley, my youngest, asked me a really interesting question a week ago. I was telling her how I was racing somebody on the highway. She's like, "Dad, that's so bad." I said, "I wasn't racing that, but just for a little bit." She's like, "How do you know they want to race?" And I was like, "It's just a thing."
They peek over
they
there.
Pull up
right.
next to you, know, they're like idling. And she's like, "You guys are so weird."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely. All right, we got our man Fan Cam on here, joining us at 641-1010. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, guys. It is a blessing Mike does not have a handgun.
Isn't it?
On the golf course.
Right. You know, I might have pulled it on you on the golf course a time or two had it been handy. So, yes, I'm better off without.
I had a 3.
Flying golf clubs are bad enough, but bullets we don't need.
Amen, bro.
Well,
That's right.
I wanted to thank you guys because I appreciate these mock drafts on Wednesday. It's been a lot of fun. You know, draftniks and fantasy geeks like us, Mike, I mean, it's just a blast doing those things. But it's been really insightful as well. And, I mean, there is a lot of talent at positions we need in rounds 2 through 4, 2 through 5, right in that area there, defensive tackle, offensive line, secondary, running back. I mean, there's some gems out there, and I would really like to see us move back a little bit because I think there's a ball player somewhere in the 9 to 15 range that might be as good as anybody we draft.
Yeah.
And I think we could really build some depth with a trade back or two. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the draft. Tommy will be kicking things off with cello bombs when it starts if you want to drop by for a quick one. And hope you guys have a great Masters weekend.
Hey, before you go, Cam, if they're at 5 and they can't move back and Hunter and Carter are gone, who do you hope they take as of today?
Well, I honestly, and you know, you might have a talent there in the middle of the defensive line, but I'd really like to see one of the tackles, whatever tackle they grade the highest at that point, because with Walker Little at a pretty good bargain for 2 years, I think the future, and hopefully, you know, we need a bounce back here on the other side as well. So if that happens, I'd like to see one of the big tackles go.
All right, fair enough. Cam, you going to give us a Duval on the way out the door or what? What's the story here?
Well, Tommy, I'm looking forward to a ride to the Lemon Bar and Liam's Lemo with you. And you guys, we're 2 weeks away.
Got to wake up the masses every once in a while. Our man Fan Cam checking in as he is want to do.
Fan, I'll see you at the Jags Beach American Legion tomorrow night. The Dad Bod's taking the stage at 7 o'clock.
Nice, indeed. Will you see him tomorrow? Will he be there?
I think he hangs out on that place
Does
on
he?
occasion.
All right.
You know, I've been in there once. It's going to be kind of like Roadhouse and the Blues Brothers. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little bit like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be rowdy. A lot of fun. Can't wait. Can't wait.
So Louis Riddick the other day,
yes,
from ESPN, mentioned he doesn't think that Shador or Dion want Sanders to go with the first 3 picks. Where did you think I was going to go with Louis Riddick?
He was just commenting on. He made comments on Trevor. You know,
what did he say about
just the mental game's got to come around?
I don't disagree.
No, I know. I thought you were going that route.
No, it's interesting to me, at least, because there are a few people starting to wet their finger and put it in the air and thrown out. How you feel Jackson Dart came off the board ahead of Shador Sanders in this draft?
Ooh.
I just think the irony of this, like, okay, Shador, you know what? We'll fall in the draft. That's fine because we may lose some money on the front end, But if we get in a better circumstance, it's going to be better for our longevity and the ultimate second contract. But what if he ends up going to one of those teams that passed on him the first time and they move back in, if he does slide to a certain point, like if the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers and Shador's there, are they going to draft him? Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
So he's sitting there and the Browns or the Giants jump up to whatever pick to get ahead of the Rams, who a lot of people think would be the ultimate fail-safe for Sanders at 26. So they want to get to 24, 25. And so in the end, all you get is a lot less money on your first contract, and you end up with the same team that you didn't want to take you in the first place.
Right.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No,
I know.
Out that way. I know. And you got to wonder if a stink is made. Can it? And that when you're not the top pick?
What can you do? You could sit out a year.
Yeah, you could, I guess.
I mean, that would be what you could do. And he probably got enough money from NIL that he could do that. But is it worth? I mean, I don't think he would do that. With all the talk about we don't care where he goes, he'll play for anybody, he's going to be transformative. Maybe they're just saying the right things because there have been reports that some teams have not, that he hasn't clicked with some teams and they haven't clicked with him. In other words, he has been turned off by some teams.
Right.
Which seems natural.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, take it back to recruiting, Tommy. When you're coming out of high school, right? You got a lot of people coming after you.
Not a lot, but enough.
Enough schools coming after you. Can you recall an instance when somebody did something you're like, man, that just doesn't sit well with me?
So my older brother, Mike, who was at Northern Illinois. They recruited me. So I obliged, and on an unofficial visit, me and my friend who was also being recruited went and watched the game. And they got beat by some school named Lamar out of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Good basketball program, Lamar, usually.
Oh, yeah.
Not known for football.
Okay. And I walked out of there saying there's no way in hell I'm going to Northern Illinois. So I don't know if that...
Because they got beat by Lamar?
Because they got crushed.
Yeah, that's
and they're
different.
like, why is your brother coming here? My brother's like, he ain't coming here, trust me.
He ain't coming to lose for the next 4 years to Lamar.
So...
Tommy, if we get you, we're going to beat Lamar, okay? Yeah. You're the key to us beating Lamar.
I tell you, I forget what school. Was it Minnesota or Wisconsin? Their recruiting guy was a very large man who loved to eat. And I remember him. Now, I didn't care, but I remember he had 3 helpings at dinner at our house. Like, he kept loading up his plate.
This is the coach.
Nice guy. Yeah, he was I think he was a recruiting coordinator, wasn't a head coach. But really nice guy. I wasn't going to go to Minnesota either. That wasn't something I really wanted to do, but nothing
Word gets out on the recruiting circuit. Hey, man, you go to McManus's house,
they're going to feed you.
Get multiple servings here.
And if you like drinking, you're going to have a night of drinking with my father.
It's going to start before dinner and going to continue.
And you're going to hear a ton of war stories. You hear a ton of stuff.
It's going
to be the time of your life.
That's an extra added benefit. All right, we'll come back here in a moment. Let's think about now, and we've already been thinking about it, the player or players that are in that group that under the right conditions would entice you, or at least you'd be on board with the Jaguars being enticed to jump up from 36 to get a second first-round pick. Obviously, the benefit, you get the 5th-year option available to you, so an extra year on the deal, and you maybe grab a guy that might not otherwise make it to 36, obviously. Right. So we'll go through the options of which players fit that for us. Look at some of your responses. We got a bunch of them in there early today. A lot of different players as well. So we'll do that next. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Wonder what Dan Hicken would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
He's the hottest young rookie in NASCAR history and has won an unprecedented 5 out of his last 6 races.
Mornings.
I can get used to this winning thing!
On 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjax.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
IdealConditionsJax.com.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
A combination of peacefulness and electric energy. Look at this. Masters updates on 1010XL are gripped by topdressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tea time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have an action-packed weekend with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Friday and Saturday night at 7. Then it's the Orlando Solar Bears. Sunday at 3. All games at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
Surf in the Summer Surf Camp is now registering for camps this summer. Get your kids out to the beach this summer. For registration and session dates, log on to surfinthesummer.com. Surf in the Summer, Jacksonville Beach's premier surf camp.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showrooms, Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
We're talking about this week a little bit about the prospect of Ashton Genty possibly going to Jacksonville. We've been referencing the Draft Buzz column from ESPN this morning a good bit. Jordan Reed wrote that this is under the category of what's the most fascinating thing you heard off of pro day workouts. Coming out of pro days, the league is still very high, in italics, very high on this running back class. Reed says he currently has 32 running backs with draftable grades on his board, and the all-time mark is 30 that have ever been drafted in a single draft. Happened in 2017. Says this also makes for an interesting scenario in the first two rounds. Ashton Genty could go as high as number 6 to the Raiders. Maybe higher. I mean, I'm not saying definitely the Jags, but if he is this guy, why couldn't he fit with a lot of teams?
Right. With the weight, I mean, they should be pretty hooked in on what the draft class is. So if you only have a couple of guys that are the elite guys, and Genty is potentially one of those, why wouldn't he be able to go higher than 6?
I mean, couldn't the Giants? I know they drafted Tyrone Tracy last year. He was okay,
Mm-hmm.
but he's like a 4th-round pick. Converted a wide receiver, I think, from back in the day. They saw what losing Saquon meant to their team. Okay, Abdul Carter. Some will have him graded higher. Some will have Genty graded higher.
Yeah.
If you've got a pretty good rush end situation, could they not be a team that could take Ashton Genty 3?
I saw Carter. He had his second visit with the Giants, I think, here in the last day or two. And yesterday posted a picture of LT, right? Just to his social media. It's like, okay. I'm sure somebody in the building brought that name up when he was there. Why wouldn't they?
Well, there's that LT. Maybe the Giants want the other LT with Danian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
And that would be Genty, at least according to many scenarios.
Yeah.
So anyway, Genty could go as high as 6, but when will a second rusher come off the board? Omarion Hampton could be next, but a high-ranked executive told me this, quote, I can draft another position, still come back at a running back in this class in the 3rd or 4th round because it's so loaded. And that's the dilemma.
Yep.
Is Genty that much better than everybody else? That even in a loaded running back class, he merits a top 10 selection. Don't know.
You're seeing Raiders at 6 all over the place, but
I mean, it's almost like you can't find a mock that doesn't have them taking.
I know. Kind of like Mason Graham to the Jags. The majority is Mason Graham to the Jags. But.
Right. Cam Ward, Mason Graham, and now Travis Hunter's become more locked in number 2. Was Abdul Carter for a while. That's flipped to Hunter.
Yep.
In a lot of people's estimation.
I tell you, man, the Raiders might even panic at number 6 and like, man, we got to get to 5. You never know.
Maybe they do.
One
move back unless you're planning on taking Genty yourself.
Right.
I mean, you could pretty much give me anything at that point.
Yeah.
Give me a 5th-round pick. All right.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, we'll pay our guy just a smidge less, and we'll get an extra dart toss.
Who's the third back? Is the kid out of Bama?
Some people think it's Travian Henderson. Out of Ohio State.
Ohio State, that's right. Number 3 out of Ohio State.
Some people, there's mixed opinions on who that next guy would be. Okay. He's probably, Tone, I would think, the one I see going 3rd more often than anybody.
Yeah.
Good speed.
Caleb Johnson occasionally
Caleb Johnson is another one, we'll see.
Yeah, right.
I really like Dylan Sampson. Some people think he's going in the 2nd. Some people think he's going in the 4th.
Right.
Who knows, man?
No.
All right, so let's get to today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day from our perspective, and then we'll look at some of the players that people mentioned in here. This is one of the rare non-poll questions we've asked of late. Name a player you think could fall to the last third of round one, let's say to at least pick 20, 21, somewhere in there, that the Jacksonville Jaguars should be willing to trade up from pick 36 to get. Now, we're not saying if the price is absurd, you got to give next year's first rounder, but if the price is somewhat reasonable, I'm thinking for me, I'm not giving up 70, but if I can get up to the early 20s with 36 and 88, I'd consider it. If I can get into the late 20s with 36 and a fourth rounder, I definitely consider that. So, Tom, why don't you lead us off? Is there a player that would be that appealing to you that the Jags should consider moving up for?
I would probably go with the tackle out of Ohio State, Josh Simmons.
Okay.
I know he's coming off the ACL, but I think if he doesn't get hurt, he might be one or two of the top tackles coming out.
He might be the top tackle.
He might be the top.
I saw in that article today there, I think he's got visits, or maybe it was a PFT. He's got visits with Indy and Kansas City coming up.
Yep.
Well, Indy's pick 14.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be available with their second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be so frustrating. Like Super Bowl caliber team gets the guy because of injury that may turn out to be the best pass protector in the draft.
Yeah, so he may not fall, but
all right, Josh Simmons for you.
I would go that route.
At least one to consider.
Yeah.
Right? Tony, what about you?
My list could probably go to 5 players.
Give
That's
it to
because it's more of a position. McMillan, Golden, Higgins, Igbuka. Okay. Like, depending on where they would be available there at the end of the first round, I'd be willing. It depends.
Even
also,
Higgins.
Even Higgins. At that, that would be a small move. That'd be like 36 to 31, 32 to make it happen. And the other player I would consider it for is Kenneth Grant. Because I do think there are a lot of nose tackles maybe in this draft, but none of them are being talked about the same way that Kenneth Grant is.
Fair.
So if he was still there once you get to, 29, 30, somewhere in that kind of range, then I'd be willing to give up a 4th round pick to go guarantee that for me.
For sure. And I'd take him over Josh. I just didn't think he'd be that far down, but maybe that'd be great.
But
man.
if he is available then in the 20s.
Without a doubt. I think he'd be number 1 for me just to get a stud nose tackle on this defense. I think that'd do wonders.
All right, Dylan, why don't we fire up today's 10-10 take?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
I got a list as well, Tone, like you. We often do. Under the right circumstances, and it somewhat depends on what you did with the first pick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay? Out of the wide receivers, I don't think McMillan makes it to that range. I don't think Golden makes it to that range. Igbuka is the one who intrigues me as a really good fit, and a lot of people think he's going to slide to the second round. And in that case, maybe you don't even need to move up, but if you get a little antsy and the price is reasonable and you envision him as your number 2 to Brian Thomas, then he would definitely be there. I think a variety of defensive tackles fit this. If you don't go Mason Graham at 5, Grant for sure, Derek Harmon, Walter Nolan. If one of those guys is sitting there at pick 25, and who's to say? I mean, we just don't know where some of these guys are going to go. Again, I've been referencing the column on Draft Buzz a lot, but there was a mention of Walter Nolan in here. I'll find it here in a second. It was just interesting. Because we talked about Tony and I earlier
everyone's
in the week.
Really high on him right now.
Super high on Walter Nolan. And in terms of a guy who would be the most shocking pick that I could actually see the Jaguars maybe taking at 5. Okay? Like if you maybe, all right, if you think Mason Graham is that guy, maybe you do, but he's going to play the same position as Walter Nolan. And Walter Nolan in the SEC had as many sacks last year as Mason Graham's had the last 2 years combined. Now, sack's not the only indicator for a defensive tackle. Anyway, so defensive tackle for me, yes. I think they would have to envision this guy just being a perfect fit. But Tyler Booker, the Alabama guard, this would be a potential small move up, and you'd have to think of him as a walk-in-the-door starter. But probably the number 1 guy for me on my list. And I don't think he'll be in the 20s, but you can find mocks where he makes it there. It's Kelvin Banks Jr.
Yeah, the tackle.
The tackle out of Texas, who may turn out to be the best of this group. He's much like Josh Simmons.
Yeah, sure.
Except without the injury concern, Tommy.
Yeah.
that, it depends on when the first two come off the board.
Yep.
And, you see plenty of mocks where Will Campbell falls now to the 11-12 range. Well, if that happens, maybe the next tackle is Simmons. And maybe Banks is sitting there at 22-23.
There'll be a runoff for a couple of those guys. You can guarantee it.
You would think. So, now, again, this is if you didn't go that direction at 5. You're not going offensive tackle. That would be probably the guy that would interest me the most.
I'll tell you another guy for defense, and I saw him a few games, was the Pierce kid from Tennessee.
Yeah.
The edge rusher.
Yes.
I've seen him at 25.
James Pierce in this mock went 25. I saw him in a multi-round mock the other day. He went in the 50s. He's got some off-field stuff, right?
It's attitude stuff.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Tony can clean that up. That's what he's here for.
All right. Well, the question would be, is he intangibly rich?
That's right.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
Right. How the Jags would feel about that anyway. So, in this mock we've looked at this morning from Cody Benjamin, had him going to the Buccaneers at pick 25.
Interesting.
Did we talk last week about Todd Bowles' comments about going offensive guy over defensive guy?
I heard you on the radio. I heard you.
We'll recap that when we come back. We'll look at some of the suggestions our listeners gave for a player that would entice them to potentially jump up or like to see the Jags jump up to grab. Another Masters update on the way for you as well. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Fred Couples has a swing that endures. No matter that he's 65 years old, Couples fired a 1 under 71 in the first round. He became the second oldest man to break par at the Masters, and that was a shot better than Rory McIlroy, in fact. Now, Couples missed the cut last year as he battled a back injury. Thankfully, no gout. He expects to play well here, though.
Well, I've been saying it for 40 years. I just love the course, and I feel like, to be honest with you, last year I was not really very healthy at all. And if I'd have had the right clubs in my bag, even as bad as I felt, I really feel with the way the scores were, I was disappointed when I finished. But I had a 7-wood, 9-wood, and those were just so I could swing at them. Now I have a set of clubs that I feel like I can hit around here. But it was fun.
And Couples used a 6 hybrid to make eagle from 191 yards at the par 4 14th. Couples has a chance to break his own record as the oldest player to make the cut at the Masters. He did that at 63 2 years ago. Couples tees off in an hour. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
When I wake up,
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel all right.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit Fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Broker Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Wind picking up in the second round of the Masters. Will have gusts of close to 30 miles an hour from the west this afternoon. And now might be time to post a number, and the leader is on the course. Let's check the leaderboard. Sponsored by Wrangler. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Justin Rose sweeps in a birdie at 8. He's 8 under with a 3-shot lead over Ludwig Oberg and Bryson DeChambeau. Both Oberg and DeChambeau at 5 under par, and they are both through 4 holes. Corey Connor, Scotty Scheffler at 4 under, 4 back. Neither have teed off. Scheffler goes off at 1:23 Eastern. Masters rookie Matt McCarty rolls in 4 straight birdies to close out the first 9. He's 2 under, 6 back. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 in St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Sometimes you agree with them, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, a few things here on the text line as we clean up and get ready to wrap up for the weekend here on Jaguars Today. From the several coming in from the same 904 area code account. Is Mason Graham better than those two offensive tackles? Well, that's for James Gladstone and company to figure out, right? I mean, I would say this. In most pure rankings, I see Mason Graham listed ahead of those guys.
Yeah, you do.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
But whether that's, it's beauty's in the eye of the evaluator. Yep. Then we're talking about potentially trading up for defensive tackle. 3 technique defensive tackles will be available on day 3 as well. Well, sure. I mean, everything will be available on day 3. Yeah. The question is, would the Jags covet one more than some of the others? Okay, we can get one in round 3, but not like this guy. Right? And I'm not saying that they will feel that way, but I could absolutely see it.
Right.
That, if it's Nolan. By the way, I found the blurb on Walter Nolan.
Yep.
It was Matt Miller of ESPN talking. Out of the hundreds of players who went through pro day workouts, the most rave reviews I've heard are for Ole Miss defensive tackle Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
Following a strong pre-draft process, people from teams now tell me Nolan looks like a round 1 lock and a potential top 20 player. He's ranked 20th on my final board. He's the best pure pass rusher in the defensive tackle group. This according to him, and then get some teams in the middle of the first round that might target him. So if you feel that way and you're the Jags and all of a sudden you're sitting there at 22 and you went another direction at 5.
And for the day 3, you don't even know if the top ones that are going to be there. Like, you know
who's going to make it.
Right.
You know what projections say, but they can be, one of the things in this column today said first round's going to be wild. According to evaluator, like you're going to hear names called that you're like, I thought this guy was a second rounder because the talent pool is kind of flat for a lot of people. And if you happen to like a guy's going to come down to personal preference, especially if you're stuck and can't move down.
I guess my point is like you mentioned 5 guys already on that defensive Like, what are we talking? 15? So you're telling me at day 3 they're going to find a starter at day 3? Like
maybe not.
By the way, I know you need depth. Depth is very important, but I'm looking for starters in my draft. I mean, if they end up being special team, but they better be later in the draft. But my first through 3 rounds at least should be
those first 4 picks should have an eye on being starters,
or at least playing
sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
that's part of the problem with recent drafts for the Jags. If you draft Tyler Warren, I mean, Brenton Strange will play a lot, but he was a second round pick. And granted, they didn't take him in the second round, but okay, take Mason Graham. Mason Smith was a second-round pick last year. Right. Jarian Jones is a third-round pick last year. If he isn't starting for this football team, that's just, good depth, but wasted opportunities.
In my opinion.
One other interesting thing here, Jahad Campbell, several people have mentioned him as a guy, the Alabama linebacker. His labrum recovery is something teams are sizing up, according to Field Yates. It's not because the injury is complex or overly concerning, but he had the surgery after the combine. And teams are still working to get as much info as they can. At full strength, I believe he's a top 20 player, but don't be surprised if he slides into the late first or early second because they're trying to figure out if they'll be ready for training camp or even the regular season.
Oh, jeez.
So, but if you get a guy that you think is, let's say, the 18th best player when healthy and you're not exactly sure of the timetable, what if he misses a month in his rookie year? Is that the worst thing in the world?
Not at all.
It's hard to juggle all these things. All right, here's some of the names we got today. Cristiano gave us Tyler Booker. That's the guy he would come up for potentially. Scott said if we don't get Mason Graham, maybe Kenneth Grant. Here's Code Blue. Jahad Campbell could possibly fall. That would be a massive steal. Or Mike Green. Another vote for Grant. Yep. Someone who wants to trade down from 36. The only two guys for me personally would be McMillan or Loveland. I don't think either will be there, but I don't think they would trade up for the type of tight end that Loveland is. No. Nick Emenwari. Several people mentioned him.
Not if he's not going to start for me. He better be an immediate starter.
Right. And if you're going to trade up into the first round, you got to presume that guy's got to be an immediate starter for you. Yeah, I don't know,
he's
man.
Big and fast, but
he is big and fast. I feel like, those measurables at the combine shot him through the ceiling.
It does do that.
And a lot of people have coveted him. Kind of a long shot, said Ed, but I'd go for Jahdae Barron. At one point, you could get him at 36 in the mocks, but not anymore. More likely if there's a run on wide receivers and only one of Burton, Egbuka, and Golden are left. I recognize you asked for one and gave 4 because Ed knows I'll get on you. I gave 5 or 6 today. Ed, thank you. Irish Diplomacy went with Xavier Watts or Tyler Warren. Another for Emenwari for George. Never trade up, said Josh, because that's a good philosophy. Be rigid and never, ever move for anything.
Right.
I mean, look, I generally trade back, add value, sure.
Yep.
But if you can't have a philosophy,
you add value so that you can go get a guy if you want him.
Yeah.
That's part of the adding value.
Yeah.
We got picks that we can use so that we can move up if we need to move up, if that's what we decide to do.
I got an idea. Move up and grab that Devin Lloyd kid and put him in a position that he never played before in college.
Pretty clear that fifth-year option's not getting picked up after the kind of, we got to get to know him better
I don't blame him.
Well, I granted, but you've had the same amount of time to get to know Trayvon, and you picked up his option. So the excuse of we have to get to know him better is.
Well, I think they got to figure out what they're going to do with him. Like Trayvon, that's a no-brainer.
Sure, right. But I don't think they're going to figure that out by May 1st and all of a sudden go, okay, now fifth-year option.
Oh, right. I got you.
Maybe if they're looking at a certain linebacker in the draft or two and they miss out, then because they still will have a week or so after the draft to do that if they opt to. All right, we're going to get out a few minutes early because with the Masters updates, breaks getting longer. DeChambeau to 6 under. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
There we go.
It'd be nice if somebody had $20 on that guy. Yeah. Anyway, Rose is at 8 under par, leading the Masters. He is 1 under on the day. He has made the turn and on to.
He does that a lot, doesn't he?
He
gets out
plays,
in front a lot.
He plays really well at Augusta.
Okay.
Is a good course for him.
Yep.
All right. All that said for us, so let's find out what's on deck for Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, Taylor Dahl is out at the University of North Florida with her Helmets and Heels cohorts. What's up, Taylor? How are you?
Hello, I'm great. We're hanging out at the Coop right now getting ready to watch some beach volleyball. So it's a really beautiful day out here, and we get to watch some volleyball.
Dylan just heard beach volleyball. I think he'll be right out after the show, as a matter of fact.
He did say he was heading out this way anyways because there is a track meet just across the way where I can see, so he might wander his way over here.
Well, he thought you might want to broadcast his meet live is what he was hoping for, but he hasn't convinced us to do it yet, so we'll keep working on it. What's coming up today for the Heels?
Yeah, we obviously out here we're going to talk to Nick Morrow. He's the athletic director for UNF. We'll talk some spring sports that are going on right now. We also have a couple things we want to get into, more draft talk, that shake up at the top 4 and what that looks like for the Jaguars. Some recent comments of Shedeur Sanders, who may or may not take him, where he ends up falling. And then we also are going to ask a question today about which NFL quarterback in Florida is set up the best environment to win right now. And so we're going to have that conversation too. We'll put that out on Twitter.
All right. Sounds good. Taylor, have a great show out there and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You guys too.
All right. I don't see any gallons of milk on the ladies' table, so I don't think they're going to try to follow in ET's footsteps today. So hope you all have a milk-free weekend, or a mostly milk-free weekend. Tommy,
Yeah.
what do you got going on with Dad Bods?
Dad Bods tomorrow night, American Legion in Jacksonville Beach.
Tony's got some Braves baseball this weekend.
I'll watch the Braves playing in a Yankee Stadium in Tampa.
Oh,
there you go.
yes. In Legends Field down there. And Dylan Denmark's got track meet today. Maybe a little beach volleyball watching. I don't know. Golf Sunday, Denmark, right?
Indeed, and a haircut tomorrow.
Where are you playing Sunday?
Fleming.
All right. Hit him well.
Thanks, sir.
I'll be swatting them around down in Bunnell myself this weekend.
Very nice.
Everybody out there, have a great weekend. For Tom McManus and all our guests this week, we appreciate you being a part of the program. We'll be that much closer to the end of the NFL draft by next Monday. 2 weeks out from the end by next Monday. So join us for that. That'll do it for us. For Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today, and keep it